Hey guys, welcome back and happy Monday, which means happy, hot, messy topics and everything in between day. All right, guys, well, we have a lot to talk about, including, well, especially Jen Shah, who has requested a reduced prison sentence after changing her plea to guilty. Now, Bravo Docket, our girls over at the Bravo Docket did a very interesting post about this, and they always break down all the information. I love those ladies. Like, if I am not talking with Emily D. Baker, I'm always talking with them, trying to figure out, okay, what's going on? Now, with that, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. With that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys, so apparently according to page 6, and also Bravo Docket, Jen Shah has requested a reduced prison sentence after pleading guilty to wire fraud. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star, whose plea agreement calls for up to 14 years behind bars, is asking for 3 years, and this is according to court documents obtained by page 6. We submit that such a sentence is just and fair because it takes into account Ms. Shah's history and characteristics, the facts and circumstances of the offense, and meets that a court impose a sentence that is not greater than necessary to achieve the goals of punishment. That's what Jen Shah's attorney, Priya, wrote in a sentencing submission filed on Friday. Shah's legal team listed several reasons why she should serve a reduced sentence, arguing that the reality star had no direct contact with the alleged victims and that her history and characteristics align with a smaller sentencing. Her lawyers emphasized how much this case has already cost. And caused embarrassment, fear, and shame for her family, her husband, Sharif, and her sons, Sharif Jr. and Omar. Jen would never do anything to risk more harm to her children, Jen's attorney argued. She knows the emotional and psychological toll that her sons have already been forced to pay. These are harms for which she will spend the rest of her life atoning. The Bravo celebrity also submitted a statement accepting complete responsibility for the terrible business decisions that she made. The 3-page statement, which has been largely redacted, went on to explain how the personal painful experiences of losing her father and grandfather, as well as being cast for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, gave her a real chance to escape her previous business ventures. My poor judgment and bad business associations caused innocent people to lose their money and be victimized by investing in poorly structured businesses' products that I influenced or controlled. For that, I am genuinely sorry, and I will work for the rest of my life trying to make it right. Jen, now we know on January 6th, she will be going into court to figure out this will be her sentencing day, and she changed her plea to guilty days before she was set to stand trial for allegedly running a nationwide telemarketing scheme. Jen's request for a lower sentencing came the day that she announced she wouldn't be attending the Salt Lake City Season 3 reunion and blasted Bravo for finding it unsatisfactory that she wouldn't be able to discuss her legal woes. I'm curious, though, this is a conversation, again, love our ladies at the Bravo Docket. I always love talking to our attorneys and asking, what do you guys think will happen? Will they give her a smaller sentence? And I know from what I heard, when you go to federal prison, and I've said this a couple of times, I know people who have gone to prison, and when they do, they always get they serve 2 days and they get a day off, something like that. But from what I was hearing about federal prison, it's usually you serve about 90% of your time. So if she was sentenced to 3 years, then she would get close to 3 years that she would have to serve as long as she was, on her best behavior. But Bravo Docket came out with this, and I just want to make sure I hit all of the points right. Observation from Jen Shah's sentencing. They said 30 individuals wrote letters to the court on Jen's behalf, providing statements on her character. None were by any of her castmates. It provides a background on Jen Shah's upbringing and how she became involved in the scheme. They said, though details like names are redacted, it argues that who Jen was in Salt Lake City was different than who she was in New York with the fraudsters. It suggests that the personal struggle she faces privately is different than her public denial of guilt, though the specifics are also redacted. It details the impact this will have on her sons and mentions how traumatized her younger son was and still is from the raid. It mentions Real Housewives of Salt Lake City as a career path that helped to take Jen out of the fraudulent scheme, but it also paints the show as partially scripted and highly edited. She is seeking a sentence of 36 months. Jen also submitted images under seal and a declaration expressing remorse. And that's where she said, I will work for the rest of my life in order to make this right. And Emily D. Baker even commented on this and said, the way I took a deep breath when I saw how many exhibits and letters were attached. So my question here is going into January 6th, how will they navigate this? Is this something that they will give her less time for because, you know, she had so many people write in? Will this influence the court, or will the court just be like, it took you way too long to change your plea? But then again, she changed her plea. That's the question I have. She changed her plea, so she didn't have to put anybody through trial, even though it was just a couple of days before. But from what I heard about the Chrisleys, when they went through everything, when they were claiming that they were not guilty, when they were, you know, fighting through trial, trying to fight for their lives, there was an attorney who's very well known that said the reason that they probably got as harsh prison sentences as they did was because they fought all the way to the very end and did not accept responsibility. Joe Giudice also said on Namaste Bitches podcast with Teresa, his ex-wife, he said, listen, we took our pleas, we didn't fight the system, and had the Chrisleys have done the same thing, they probably would have gotten the same thing that Teresa and Joe did. They wouldn't have gotten 7 and 12 years, which is a total of 19 years behind bars, even though they still are planning to fight to appeal. But I don't want to just give you this information and not ask your opinions. Guys, go ahead and comment below. Let us know what you think. But more importantly, before you go, don't forget that a new episode of Hot Messy Podcast drops tomorrow with Kempire. We had such a great conversation. It lasted so much longer than what I thought, but it's always easy to go down the rabbit hole with Kempire. And yeah, we talk about a lot. So go check that out. And we'll be back this week for all of our other lives. I know that we have Real Housewives of Miami that we want to cover this week. We have more Salt Lake City. I don't know if you guys are watching Southern Hospitality. Of course, we had Hot Messy Topics today. You guys know they'll just keep coming. I love you guys, and we'll see you so very soon. Bye, guys. Happy Monday. Happy holidays.